Amen? So I want to share, I was thinking of a mighty man. And the Bible is full of mighty men, right? What's some of the mighty men in the Bible? David? What is it? Abraham? Yeah, Job? Gideon? Who is it? Moses. There is great mighty men. But you know what's interesting? I heard this from a famous pastor named Spurgeon. I read for him. Some of you know the name. Passed years ago. He said, you know, you're going to be surprised in heaven. These words. Because, you know, the big shot pastor who goes on television and blah, 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 and you think, oh, he probably has, 5 million souls, he goes, I imagine heaven is like a stadium. That's exactly what he said. He goes, I imagine heaven is like a stadium. And every one of those big shot people, is going to come and wearing this nice, whatever, righteous robe and sits where? In the front, right? That's normal, So it's like, hey, look at what I did, And then he goes, I imagine Jesus comes into that stadium. And he comes to that big shot pastor and he goes, your seat is over there. And your seat is over here. And then he comes to a mom who raised 4 kids by herself. They were leaders. She sacrifices everything for them. She thought that she's never done anything worthwhile. And he goes, you come sit in the front. The way God measures things is so different than how we measure things. And it hit me. All I need to do is my life is be faithful in what God gives me. That's it. That the world highlights things that God doesn't care about. His perspective is so different. So I'm going to show you a man that's listed in 3 verses in the Bible. But he is called a mighty man. Go to 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel 23. Second Samuel 23. He starts verse 8 by saying, these are the names of who? The mighty men whom David had. They were mighty. Verse 9, it says, and after him was Eleazer, the son of Dodo. Try having your last name being Dodo and see the comments of people on that. Don't name your child Dodo. It's not going to work well. Eleazer, the son of Dodo, the Ahohite. Thank God you're not from that city too. Well, he's listed in 2 verses, right? He goes, this guy here, one of the 3 mighty men was David when they defied the Philistines who were gathered there for battle, and the men of Israel had retreated. He arose and attacked the Philistines until his hand was weary, and his hand stuck to the sword. The Lord brought about a great victory that day, and the people returned after him only to plunder. That's all this person did. But I want you to notice first of all his name. Eleazer, the son of Dodo. Eleazer means God is my help. God is my help. Dodo means beloved. That's his name. So he knew who he is, and he knew who his God is. That's the first thing he saw in his name. God is my help, and I know I am beloved. So I imagine when he was sent by David, he's like, okay, how's this going to work, God? Because, I'm fighting against an army, right? Not a small thing. But I imagine there are certain verses that went through his head. And I pray these verses would go through your mind and heart. Maybe he thought of Romans 8:31. What does Romans 8:31 say? What then shall we say to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? Maybe that's a verse that went through his mind. So if God is for me, I don't care how many Palestinians are against me. I don't care what I'm facing. Why? Because me plus God equals majority. So he goes, if God is for me, I don't care. Bring on the Palestinians. Maybe that verse went through. Or maybe when he saw the massive army, there is another verse that went through his mind. Maybe it's Romans 16:20. And the God of peace will crush Satan under your feet shortly. The God of peace will crush Satan, will crush the enemy under your feet shortly. Maybe that's another verse that went through his mind. Or maybe he thought of himself and he goes, God, who am I? And then he went to Jeremiah. And maybe he thought of these words. For behold, I have made you this day a fortified city, an iron pillar, a bronze wall against the whole land. They will fight against you, but they shall not prevail against you. For I am with you, says the Lord, to deliver you. Or maybe that's what he was thinking. He's like, God is for me. The enemy is crushed under my feet. I am a fortified city, a bronze wall. Nothing will prevail against me. But you know what? Maybe fear started creeping in, just like all of us. He's facing an army, right? It's not an easy task. And then fear comes in. And then maybe he thought of this verse in 1 John. There is no fear in love. Remember, his name is what? His last name? Beloved. His last name is Beloved. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts. Who's perfect love? Jesus. Casts out fear, because fear involves torment. But he who fears has not been made perfect in love. Maybe these verses was going through as he was thinking about what he's going to do. And I pray that when you're facing challenges, you remember Romans 8:31. You remember Romans 16:20. You remember Jeremiah 1:18. You remember 1 John 4:18. Because that's who your God is. Who is my God? As you're facing struggles. So this mighty man was facing struggles. And I was kind of looking at his story. Now, notice that he was willing to stand with a group or stand alone. Go back to 2 Samuel. It says, all the men and the men of Israel had done what? 2 Samuel, verse 9. Withdrawn. Have you ever been alone? Think about that. He has an army, and the men that should be standing next to him to fight, what does they do? Eleazer, sorry, I have to go home, man. Can't do it. Eleazer, you're on your own. If I'm Eleazer, I'm going to say, I'm going home too. You think I'm going to do this alone? Did Eleazer do that? Eleazer didn't do that. Because, oh yeah, all of them left. And that's why we make so many excuses in our lives. I have an excuse because, my family, my this. I can put a list of excuses in front of God. List. Excuse after excuse. Why I am not following him full-heartedly. Excuses. He had the right excuse. If he would have left, none of us here would say he did anything wrong. He's facing an army of the Philistines, and the people of Israel, the one that should know their God, left him. And my question to you, are you willing to walk alone? Are you willing to walk alone? Are you willing to face your issues without excuses? Standing on who your God is. So here he was alone. But he made no excuses for it because he knew what he's standing on. He was standing firm. But notice something else. He kept fighting until his hand was what? Worry. What does it mean to worry? To tire, right? To get exhausted. That's other words, right? Most of us, we face battles, and the first day we're gung-ho, right? Okay, God's gonna do this. God's gonna, watch God. And then God says, I want to build your faith. So he doesn't do anything the first day. He doesn't do anything the second day. He doesn't do anything the third day. Now let me ask you, does your prayer change? God, how come I'm praying you're not doing anything? I've been praying, I'm trusting you. God is for me. The enemy is going to be crushed under my feet. But nothing is happening, God. What's up? And what do? God's not doing anything. So I'm going to do something. That's why God wants you to learn to persevere. You know what persevere is? The waves are coming this way, and what am I doing? I'm keep walking forward. I'm going to keep walking forward. God is trying to teach you what it means to persevere. Go to Romans 5. Hallelujah. Verse 3. And not only that, but we also glory in what? Do you you hear yourself? Glory in what? Suffering. Glory in what? Tribulation. How many of you would say, I glory in my tribulations? No one's raising their hand. And I'm with you, by the way. I wouldn't raise my hand, I'm not just raising my hand, I was like, no, it's kind of hard. He glories. Why? Why Eleazer? Okay? Because what's going to happen in tribulation? It produces perseverance. And perseverance builds your character. And character gives you more and more hope, not in yourself, in Him. That's what happens as Eleazer was facing this army, this battle. And let me tell you, the battle you are facing, God is trying to teach you something through it. And when you don't learn the lesson the first time, He is going to keep repeating first grade until you get first grade. I went through first grade 20 times. Thank God I'm in second grade now. Just God. Yeah. I am a stubborn person. Ask my wife. And God taught me. Hani, it doesn't work this way. And trust me. I learned what it means to be broken. That's it. And you know when I'm broken, I saw God's glory. In many ways of my life. I saw when I gave up everything, how God miraculously pays for my kids' schools. Without anyone. Without me having a job that I can pay for. Yeah, I learned. I learned that it doesn't work the other way around. When I'm stubborn and I'm trying to do my own thing, it doesn't work out very well. But when I'm broken, and I tell Him, you do it, Lord. Because I'll show you. I will have them look at your application and your story and give you money you don't even know it existed. And sometimes you don't even ask for it. You didn't even ask for it. But I'm going to give it to you. To show you, when I am with you, no one is against you. So here, we see that He knew who He is. He was willing to stand alone. He persevered. I want to show you a verse. Go to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 33. Moses is blessing the tribes of Israel. He comes to the tribe of Asher. Deuteronomy 33. Asher means blessed. So he comes to the tribe of Asher. And he says, Asher is most blessed. Verse 24. Let him be favored by his brothers. Let him dip his foot in oil. Wow. Your sandals shall be iron and bronze. Not going, I can spend a whole message on this, but I want to show you the end of that verse. As your days, so shall your strength be. As your days, so shall what? What does that mean? You think does it mean that God is going to give me strength for next week? As your days, so shall your strength be. Which means, I gave you strength for today, right? You want more? Come tomorrow, I'm going to give you strength for tomorrow. Want more? I'm going to give you strength for the third day. He wants you to every day be dependent on him. So he goes, Asher, you're blessed. You know why? I'm going to give you strength for today. As your day, so shall your strength. How many of you, without raising your hand, how many of you suffer because they worry about what's going to happen tomorrow? Take that verse and say, Lord, you say, as your days, so is your strength. So today you're giving me strength for the day. I praise you, I worship you, I thank you. I know when tomorrow comes and I face a mountain, guess where my strength is going to be? So I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry. Because he's going to give me strength to go through that day. So here, Eleazer had that. In you, I have strength for that day. I can do that. Now, when I go back to 2 Samuel 23, someone said, you know, my issue with Hani is like he goes through verses all over the place. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm just here to lift up God's word. That's it. I don't want you to take my opinion for it. You know? I want you to take God's word. My opinion means nothing. Basically. You know? So God's word, everything. Hallelujah. But notice number 4. And his hand stuck to the sword. You know what this means? It means his hand stuck to the sword. That's what it means. Stuck to the sword. You know, when something is stuck, actually the word that's being used here is to a point as if it's glued. As if it's the sword, they couldn't take it out of his hand after he won the battle. Because he was holding on so tight to it, they were having a hard time taking it out. That's the exact word. His hand was stuck to the sword. Is your hand stuck to the sword? Do you get up every morning and say, Lord, I'm here to know you more. Teach me. Grow me. Stuck to the sword. You can't win if you don't know God's word. Not only you can't win, you will be easily deceived by anyone that says anything if you don't know God's word. Easily deceived. I say all the time, guess what? I will never deceive you purposely. Never. Okay? But can I say something that's off? Yeah. Why? Because I'm a human being. And I pray if I say something that's off, my prayer is one of you will come and say, what do you think of that verse? What you said on it. Why? Because I'm a human being. If you don't know God's word, I repeat it, anyone can deceive you. So know what God says. Have your hand stuck to the sword. Fight with it. Fight with it. But notice the last point. Was he mad at the people that left him? No. God did a great victory, and the people returned after him only to plunder. You know what God wants to do in your life? Not only that you're blessed, but guess what? Your family is blessed. Your home is blessed. People you see in school are blessed. People you see at work are blessed. Why? Because you are there. Because you are there. They return to plunder, which means others are blessed because of who? Because of Eleazer of Dodo. They're blessed because of him. And I can tell you how many times when I was working for Disney, I didn't share much. But you know, even when you don't share a lot at work, does people know you're different? You're different. They are blessed because of you. I shared this story with, I think Terrell knows the story. Kind of crazy story. I had a lady working for me in Verona. She is Jewish and became Hindu. I don't know how, anyway. And she was kind of weird, like really weird. And I tried to share the gospel with her, and it was just, not going anywhere. And I ended up leaving work for a month to go to Egypt with Iman and the girls. And I left for a month, come back. And I'm not telling you this to say, oh, Hani's good. No. I am just telling you what God can do through you. Okay? This is not about me. So I come back, and the first thing, I come into my office, and she comes running into my office. She goes, I have to talk to you. I'm like, okay. Yeah, close the door, close the door. She goes, I want to tell you, when you are here, there is such peace. But when you left this month, it's like all hell broke loose. I will tell you, she is not a Christian until today. Sadly. But she realized that Christian's presence, who lives a life that's different, changes the atmosphere. This is you. This is you. But you know what it's going to take? You stand firm. Because if you then stand firm and you go back and forth based on what happens, the opposite happens. Oh, this person calls themselves a Christian, but he doesn't live anything like what he should be living. The opposite happens. So this man here, Eleazer, the son of Dodo, the Ahohite, was a mighty man. Was a mighty man. And I pray you get out of here and you are a mighty man, you are a mighty woman. That you take these points and you say, God, I want to learn this. I want to develop some habits getting out of here. And I want to develop habits that are not broken no matter what. My relationship with you comes first before anything. Would you pray with me? I'm going to ask the worship team to come. We praise you, we praise you, we praise you, we worship you. We worship you, Lord. We worship you, Lord. We worship you, we worship you. I want you to listen to these words as just spending time with the Lord. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bring forth its fruit in its season, whose leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. And whatever he does shall prosper.